Welcome, everybody, to the Buffalo Bills Built-in Buffalo postgame show right here on the Built-in Buffalo Network. As you see, there's a little change. We're not doing the Red Zone Report. We're doing the postgame show to have some unity here. And I'm here with our founder, Akeem Richens, after a lovely 30-21 victory of the Buffalo Bills over the Kansas City Chiefs, ending the unbeaten streak of those Kansas City Chiefs and giving us a shot at potentially being the number one seed in the AFC by the time it's all said and done. Akeem, how you feeling, brother?
Hey, Rich, Akeem Richens. If you don't know Built in Buffalo by now, ladies and gentlemen, please get to know us. Izzy, I'm feeling great, man. 30-21, big victory for the Buffalo Bills. The Kansas City Chiefs came into this game undefeated, and of course, we want to beat them when it really counts in the playoffs in January or in February, absolutely. But to come away with this victory against an undefeated ball club, it's definitely sweet. It definitely feels good, and it definitely feels good to be victorious. Big victory for the Buffalo Bills today.
Absolutely. And last week after the Buffalo Bills victory, it was the first time we had been 8-2 since 1993. Now, this year, we went 8-2 again. 1993, we lost to the Chiefs to go 8-3. This year, we win against the Chiefs to go 9-2. Buffalo Bills are on their way. They just beat the best team in the NFL, unless you believe it's the Lions, which if you do, I'm not mad at it. But the record makes it the Chiefs, and we are rolling. So I also am very content, and I love it when you show how excited you are. But yeah, it was a game that had us nervous through 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter we pulled away. It was a beautiful thing to see.
Absolutely. It was the beautiful thing about this victory is we heard about Tony Romo talking about his championship pedigree, Patrick Mahomes. He's going to come back and he's going to fight back. And when he does show that championship pedigree and he respond, how do you respond off Patrick Mahomes' response? Can you keep up to that level? Can you run with Patrick Mahomes and ultimately make as much plays as him to win the ball game? And tonight, what we saw with Josh Allen's performance when Patrick Mahomes showed his championship pedigree, Josh Allen displayed and showed he has some championship pedigree within his own, right? That was a big play, big situation, 4th down, and Josh Allen took it into his hands and made an incredible play, 26-yard run for the touchdown. But I also want to celebrate Sean McDermott and Joe Brady and the coaching staff of the Buffalo Bills a little bit. They was aggressive. They was aggressive in the style. And they said, you know what? We can't go ahead and sit on our asses and depend on, first of all, Tyler Bass, even though he made a field goal 61 yards and we appreciate it. You never know what may happen this game, right? So we want to depend on Tyler Bass' legs to go up 5, to put Patrick Mahomes in the situation to beat us at home. No, let's go ahead and take this ball game. Let's go ahead and be aggressive doing so, not sitting on our ass and waiting for things to come to us and being conservative and taking what's given to us. We went ahead and took it, and that's got to be celebrated with the coaching staff of the Buffalo Bills. And because of that, Josh Allen was able to propel us to victory with his Superman cape in the 4th quarter with that run.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with that at all. Josh Allen went out there and he played his heart out. He put everything out there on the field and he left nothing to chance. He gave everything he could. And so with that being said, I'm just happy he's my quarterback, right? Because when he is on and he puts that cape on, you ain't stopping Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a guy who's going to go out there, he's going to put it on the line. And the fact that the Buffalo Bills went out there and won time of possession. The Buffalo Bills won the turnover battle. The Buffalo Bills outgained the Chiefs, both rushing, passing, and total. If you win both of those, you're going to win total, obviously. But Josh, we held Patrick Mahomes to under 200 yards passing. He had 3 tutties, 2 interceptions. The defense held strong. Very proud of the defense and what they were able to do, limiting their movement and limiting their time of possession was key, because that's usually how they kill people, is that they go out there, they take time of possession, they keep you off the field, and they just drain you. Today was not the day for that. Now, the Buffalo Bills have gone forward and they've taken the step to go ahead and beat the Chiefs at their own game. The Chiefs have been eking by teams, right? And those teams aren't the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are one of the more balanced teams in the NFL. And the fact that we dominated that game statistically shows why we won by 2 scores.
Absolutely, we was able to dominate the game within total yards, and sometimes I believe that's how the Chiefs been playing all season. Where teams have been efficient against them, but they haven't been efficient on the scoreboard. And ultimately, the Kansas City Chiefs keep it close long enough where they can propel victory at the end. But with this Buffalo Bills team, despite a pretty significant injury, Spencer Brown is not a slouch of an injury at right tackle. Dalton Kincaid is not a slouch of an injury at the tight end position for us. Keon Coleman is one of our leading receivers. So we've missed some. We missed some key guys in this ball game. I'm sure they did too, with their injuries as well. But for us to come up and make plays like we made plays, timely plays on third down. Khalil Shakir, 8 receptions on 12 targets. That's a great game for a lot of people. 8 receptions on 12 targets for Khalil Shakir is a down game in terms of receptions and targets, right? Which is in reality an excellent overall percentage, but that's just to show the chemistry Khalil Shakir and Josh Allen has had ever since Khalil Shakir has been thrusted into the starting lineup and developed that trust with our franchise quarterback. We have a guy in Curtis Samuel who is Curtis Samuel.
That guy?
Who is finding his way, who's starting to find his way in the coming weeks, and 5 receptions, 58 yards, and a touchdown in today's ball game. And I like how Joe Brady's responding to pressure. We talked about Curtis Samuel in terms of him being our most expensive receiver, and he's not doing anything of such with the Buffalo Bills. It's taken a minute, but guess what? It's better late than never. We'll take the production and the progression better late than never, and we hope he can compound on the productivity that he's providing for us within the offense for our Buffalo Bills as of late. So I like what I've seen from Curtis Samuel as well. Mac Hollins is the steady Eddie guy where it's nothing impressive on the stat sheet, but he always make a critical play. It's always a critical block, or a critical catch to move the chains on first down. He's that steady Eddie for the Buffalo Bills. And I love the fact that whenever somebody has an opportunity to make a play, they've been making that play. We haven't had too many drops this season where we can talk about guys dropping the ball in crucial situations. Everybody has made an opportunity of their opportunity when they got it. And Zach Davidson is another proponent of that, right? 1 reception, 5 yards is nothing on the stat sheet, but that's his first NFL reception. So let's congratulate Zach Davidson and what he was able to contribute into the Buffalo Bills victory as well. So it was a team victory, and it was sound fundamental football from the Buffalo Bills, and they played this type of game against the best team in the NFL record-wise, right? There was only 3 penalties in this game for the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if that's because Spencer Brown was out or what it was, but 3 penalties for the Bills, I would take that on a weekly basis for our team, So for us to play this complete game, we spoke about the run defense and that being a possible liability, or that being a possible concern. 14 attempts for Kareem Hunt. I'm not sure how much yardage, but I believe overall as a team, how much yards? 60 yards for Kareem Hunt, 78 overall as a team. I think we did a damn good job holding that run game down and did a damn good job putting pressure on Patrick Mahomes throughout the day. And the numbers actually speak to themselves this game. It's the tell of the numbers this game, and the Buffalo Bills great job, great victory, and we're going to feel good for this game. This is not our Super Bowl, right?
No,
we're going to
every year.
celebrate this. We're going to celebrate this, but this is not our Super Bowl, and we're going to move on to 2 weeks to our next opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we beat the Chiefs every year. It seems we just have it in the playoffs. So this is not Super Bowl. This is expected of us. Actually, at this point, we're favored in this game for a reason. We probably won't be when we see them in the playoffs, and that's just because the trend has been what it is. And to answer my brother in the comments who asked if Josh passed OJ, no, he's 4 behind OJ. He needs 4 more touchdowns on the ground to pass OJ Simpson or to tie him. OJ's got 61. Josh was 57. However, still a great accomplishment by Josh running that ball in there. That play was crazy. I thought he was about to get blasted, but you know what? Josh has got some quick, nimble feet. Do what he had to do. But yeah, this game showed what the Bills can do when they play near mistake-free football. We've seen what they can do when they play mistake-free football. When we played the Patriots in the playoffs that one game, and we scored on every freaking drive. Josh made that mistake with that interception. I don't know if you saw that play in depth, Akeem, but he locked in on Knox. I know he only needed the first down, but he had a touchdown to Curtis Samuel on that play. Curtis Samuel would have had 100 yards in this game if he just saw Curtis streaking across the field, left alone, nobody with him. And I was sitting there watching the replay like, oh, no, Curtis Samuel was wide open. He had a good 10 yards on the guy who was chasing him. And so missed opportunities like that will hurt you, but when you make one mistake in the game like that, not that big a deal. It's when you make a bunch of them and they compound on each other that it starts to spiral downhill. Buffalo Bills avoided that in this game and made the Chiefs make the mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of playing a mistake-free football game, for the most part, besides the interception for the Buffalo Bills, is definitely that is a recipe, just a recipe, a component to success, a component in achieving victory in the NFL. And the Buffalo Bills, they did a good job of that today. I like that we stayed committed to the run game, even though we wasn't we wasn't successful in terms of overall production. Probably not that the yards per attempt or yards per carry probably wasn't there, but I like that we stayed true to our identity, running the ball 30 plus times. I believe 31 times as a team. And we was able to get a couple of key runs in those attempts. So I like how we stayed committed to the run game. We made necessary plays down the field. Two receptions, 55 yards for Amari Cooper. Did an excellent job staying in bounds, showing those hands, and those got to be difficult catches for Amari Cooper. Contorting his body back. He was looking one way and contorting his body back the other way to make a fingertip grab in a situation where he's coming off a injury where he sat out the last couple of weeks, a wrist injury. And a wrist injury, and to make those type of plays, this is why they're talking about San Francisco 49ers a little bit, and Jake Moody and not making the field goal, and people are saying Jake Moody was coming from injury, right? Amari Cooper came from injury and make those plays. So if you're on the field, your brothers around you expect you to produce, and the two opportunities that Amari Cooper had to produce, he produced, and and it was big gains, and it was momentum shifts within those drives, man. So I like what I'm seeing from our guys. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, this is no slouch team. It's about matchups, and the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, they just have that type of Brady Manning esque rivalry and matchup when they play each other. These are two special quarterbacks that are bound to do special things when they collectively share a football field. And this was nothing short of it today. Patrick Mahomes had 3 touchdowns today, and it's not going to be talked about. Why? Because tonight, this Sunday, Josh Allen made more plays than Patrick Mahomes. He outdueled him and ultimately proclaimed victorious in this ball game. So Josh Allen, in my opinion, with this victory, going into the bye week, a chance to sit back, get healthy, and I think he's back in that MVP running, that MVP discussion. If we're talking about MVP races, and we want to bring that up, Lamar Jackson lost today. Jared Goff had 5 interceptions the week prior, and this performance today, despite the interceptions, or despite the interception, the performance was magnificent today, and I think he's back in that MVP race. And 9-2 is nothing to sniff at in terms of an overall record.
Absolutely, can't disagree with that. And that one-handed catch by Amari Cooper on the left side of the field was beautiful, and then on the right side where he had to use his fingertips, great pass and great catch by him. I was surprised that he got challenged. I don't know what Andy Reid was thinking. It was clearly a catch in my book. And that's not just because I'm a Bills fan, but seeing 2 hands on the ball, 1 foot down, 2 foot down, and then corralling it, and it didn't move. That was a catch. I don't know what they were thinking, but Josh Allen today clearly, as you said, stamped his MVP ticket. To be in that conversation. Lamar Jackson, he's been having a hell of a year. I'm not really that high on him overall, but this year you can't deny that guy's, probably number 1 in the MVP running. Surprisingly, being 9-0 before this game, Mahomes not really in that conversation at all, but he's also looks like the interception king this year that Josh Allen was last year. So I'm happy to see my QB doing his thing out there, lighting it up. And yeah, I'm very happy that the bye is coming up because we're going to get extra healthy after the bye, right? We got Matt Milano coming back. They opened up his window before this game. Next week's the bye. The next game after that is about the time that they have to say he's back from IR or they lose him for the season, right? He's 21-day window. He should be back for the Niners. If not, they'll activate him after that game. I'm not sure what day the window closes, but it's a 21-day window. And so we might have him back. Then our guys, Keon Coleman, Kincaid, Spencer Brown, Josh Allen, he takes some hits. He can use the rest. No team in the last 10 to 15 years has won a Super Bowl with a bye week before week 10. This year, week 12 is our bye week. And the Buffalo Bills are going to get healthier right after that. The Buffalo Bills are currently on a 6-game win streak. The Buffalo Bills have not lost after a bye as long as Sean McDermott has been the head coach. So the prospects for the Buffalo Bills, to me, look pretty damn good going forward. And I cannot wait until we get our guys back, until we are fully healthy and ready to roll, because this is the perfect time to get healthy. This is the perfect time to be ready. This is the perfect time to go on a streak and really get your season in overdrive right before the playoffs start. And we've got a couple of tough games left. We got the Niners. We got the Lions. The Rams aren't a slouch, but I don't think they're really a problem either. Then we got Patriots, just Patriots. I'm not really that concerned going forward. The playoffs is where it's going to really be determined. The Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs are the big boys in the AFC, along with the Steelers now, who have now thrown their hat in the ring. They had not played a division game until today, and they went out there and they clocked the Ravens, and they only scored field goals doing it, which means that defense of the Steelers is for real. So going forward, the Buffalo Bills, we've put ourselves in position to establish ourselves in the playoffs.
Absolutely. The Buffalo Bills, right now with this victory, back in previous years, right? And it's funny. This year's Bills team is the Bills team that's looked at as the team that's supposed to take a step down. This is supposed to be a transition year. This is supposed to be a year where the Buffalo Bills take a step back. The Miami Dolphins are supposed to win the East. The New York Jets are supposed to win the East. Everybody was criticizing the talent the Buffalo Bills had on offense. What can they do? There's no Stephon Diggs. There's no Gabe Davis. And for us to have the best record since 92, 93, it's in it's what's supposed to be a transition year. It definitely it definitely says a lot for this team this year, the Buffalo Bills, and what they're doing and what they're able to overcome. This is a team that it's no excuses in the NFL, and where we've been battling injuries from day one, from Matt Milano from day one, from Terrell Bernard and Teron Johnson. The list goes on and on
Here.
and on, and the Buffalo Bills just keep on chugging,
Yeah.
right? And the what the opportunity to bye week holds for the Buffalo Bills is an opportunity to get healthy and an opportunity to come into December 1st against the San Francisco 49ers as possibly the most healthy we've seen the Buffalo Bills in a couple of years. Right? If Matt Milano can come back, and Spencer Brown and Keon Coleman and those guys could come back. So, we're definitely going to see what happens in terms of the rest of the season. I think that we are one of the better teams, if not the best team in the NFL. But I also feel that the NFL, especially in this NFL today, is not necessarily all about the best record. Sometimes it's about the matchup and how these teams match up against each other. And sometimes you can have a successful team that had a successful season that runs into a team that probably didn't have as much success throughout the season, but that's a bad matchup. And that's how I view the NFL right now. There are certain teams that I don't mind playing, and there's a team or two where I look at it and be like, okay, that might be a bad matchup for the Buffalo Bills. But as long as we're able to contain the run and do a serviceable job with that, and not let guys get carried away, and put guys in position to rush the passer in obvious pass situations, I think that's the ultimate result our defense wants to be in. Von Miller had a sack today. Terrell Bernard had a sack today, an interception, a tackle for loss, a pass defended. Terrell Bernard is
Beast.
a beast for the Buffalo Bills defense, and I love his style of play. And Dorian Williams, once again, his second year, the way he's come along and able to develop. He's going to make his mistakes along the way, but he's been doing a fine job at this linebacker position. And it's going to be interesting to see how Bobby Babbage and that defensive coaching group bring back Matt Milano to the fold of the defense, right? Is he going to start his first game when he's ready? Or if he starts his first game when he's ready, how much times is Dorian Williams going to be a rotational piece amongst that Buffalo Bills defense? But I believe these are future good problems to have for the Buffalo Bills defense. And I'm glad that we got this victory. We're going into the bye week, and we have an opportunity to get fully healthy and get ready for these stretch of games against the San Franciscos of the world, and the Detroit Lions of the world, and the LA Rams of the world, right? So interesting stretch, and I love the victory today.
You and I both. And here's another thing. When we lost Davis and we lost Diggs, and some people alluded to this in the comments, and when you started naming off the injuries that we had, we lost Matt Milano, day one before the season started. We lost Terrell Bernard for a stretch. We had Balin Spector out there starting. We lost Khalil Shakir for a game. We traded for Amari Cooper, and we missed him for 2 games. Now Keon Coleman's injured, and Kincaid's injured. We're missing them. Like, we have key contributors we've been missing for a while. Curtis Samuel was injured for a little while too.
The entire season.
Just missing players at key positions.
Dewan Smoot is injured. He was a key defensive piece earlier this season. We're not even talking about him. It's like he's being ignored. He was a key rotational piece. We would love to have him back right now.
Yeah, he was starting. He was the starter, and then Epinesa off the bench was playing better because Dewan Smoot was out there taking those initial reps. Epinesa, we've now figured out what ABJ Epinesa is. He's a great spell defensive end. He'll go out there and he'll get you sacks behind the starter. So now we know what he is, which is fine because that's a niche role you can find in the NFL. But Dewan Smoot was a big part of this defense. We're missing guys. We're 9-2. Who do you give the credit to? Is it still fire McDermott at this point? Or are we done with that bullshit? I'm sorry, but it's some bullshit. We were supposed to be 6-6 right now or some shit. But now we're 9-2 or 6-5 or 5-6. We were supposed to be at the bottom of the division fighting for third place with the Patriots. We're 9-2 fighting for first place in the AFC. What are we?
He has to be one of those guys on the forefront for NFL Coach of the Year. You know, you look at the litany of names you went through in terms of the injuries we had to withstand throughout the course of the season, and we're still, getting these victories. And we was already fully healthy. We was already looked at as a team that lacked pieces and lacked weapons. So being looked at as such, and to have the influx of injuries we've had, and to be 9-2 and to have this type of success and now knocking off the lone undefeated team in the NFL, we have to look at Sean McDermott and his coaching staff. We have to look at it's a team effort. You know, it's right now it's top to bottom. It's Sean McDermott has to get all the credit because he's the main guy. He's the head coach. It's Brandon Beane because he's found these guys and found guys that are good enough to play if guys are injured. And the next man up, the Buffalo Bills, Brandon Beane is a perfect exhibit of that quote, next man up. And he finds those type of next man up players to keep the sustainability of success along for the Buffalo Bills. So he has to get some credit as well. We have to credit Joe Brady. We understand that Josh Allen has another interception, and he has a couple of interceptions, but that's okay. You know, I would take that. Overall, Josh Allen has been more aware and more situationally aware of what he's doing with the football, not only throwing the ball, but running the ball as well. He's keeping the turnover margin down, and because of that, it's been a trickle effect for the rest of the Buffalo Bills. There's not guys making crucial mistakes and turning over the ball offensively. There's not guys dropping the ball in crucial moments offensively. And I think that's because and predicates off of Joe Brady and the type of scheme he has. You know, and now that he simplifies it, his scheme simplifies it. That is a reason why we're seeing the difference in the turnover margin down compared to years past. So Joe Brady, he has to get his credit and his flowers as well, right? Bobby Babish, you know, first time coordinator. Now, you know, we have some potential Pro Bowlers over there, but there's no, you know, we don't have no Max Crosby's over here. You know, I've got to call a spade a spade. We have some good players. We don't have that great game changing type players, right? And we have good players. Don't get me wrong, but Bobby Babish, with the players he has and the injuries he's had on the back end, he's had to go through Taylor Rapp missing a game and Ron Miller missing 4 games and Teron Johnson, Terrell Bernard, and, you know, Smoot being out, Christian Benford missing a game. So being a first-time coordinator and having to plug and play guys, you know, and the job he's doing himself. Now, it's been a bend don't break defense. It's struggled at times, yes, but overall, being on a 9-2 defense, 9-2 team as the defensive coordinator, first year calling plays, we have to give him his flowers as well. You know,
the thing. When you look at those flowers still go to McDermott too. The youth movement is on Sean McDermott. Sorry, Jim Dorsey, take a walk. Brian Dable, you go to New York. All right, and y'all suck, by the way, Giants. Freaking Leslie Frazier, you know, is doing a solid job over there in Seattle. You know, he's a solid defensive coordinator. He's a good defensive coordinator. He'll get you a good defense. Our defense was top 5 every year with Leslie Frazier here. You get a youth movement, and you look at the 2 games that we lost, the Ravens and the Texans, back-to-back games, right? Mm-hmm. We were missing Teron Johnson and Roll Bernard for both those games. Mm-hmm. Balin Spector and Cam Lewis were starting. Mm-hmm. We were missing the 2 biggest impact players on this defense. When I say impact players, I don't mean sack guys. I mean guys who go out there and make splash plays, interceptions, forced fumbles. Those are the guys that were missing them against Lamar Jackson and CJ Stroud before Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins got hurt. And we lost those games. One of them we got smashed, and the other one was close. Question is, do we get smashed if we have Terrell Bernard out there calling defense over Balin Spector? And if we have Taron Johnson guarding Zay Flowers instead of Cam Lewis?
And don't forget Taylor Rapp. Instead of Cole Bishop being flat-footed on that Nico Collins 74-yard touchdown, Taylor Rapp back there understanding his safety assignments would have had a different conclusion there as well. So
we might be number one in the AFC right now.
Big opportunity missed there. Yeah, absolutely.
Because right now, if we win that game, we're 10-1 with the Chiefs, and we're on top. We take the lead in the conference. These guys have done so much more with less. Coaches, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the influx of youth at the coordinator positions, and then on the roster overall, you get rid of your Jordan Poyers and your Micah Hydes, and I think Micah Hyde may still have a chance of coming back, but I don't know because they're playing really good. And then you bring in guys from other teams who may be a little older on the defensive line, but that's not the Bills' strong suit. It never has been. Our strong suit's always been linebackers, corners, and safeties. Every defensive coordinator ever has a weakness. The Chiefs' weakness. They suck at guarding tight ends. We exposed that a bit today. Dawson Knox had a solid day. Zach Davison had his first catches in the NFL. Josh Allen missed Quentin Morris for a touchdown. Like they suck against every single defensive coordinator that ever exists in the history of the NFL has something that they're just not that great at. For the Bills, it's always been defensive line, and the influx of youth on this team, coaching and player wise, has been refreshing. And now we're 9-2.
And the ability to make adjustments. That is something that the Buffalo Bills have shown throughout the course of the season, and that's another proponent, to the coaching staff, the ability to make adjustments. It's been games where teams get out to fast starts. It's been games where the Buffalo Bills defense start off slow on offense, or the Buffalo Bills start off slow on offense, or the Buffalo Bills lack that resistance on defense, and we've been able to make adjustments throughout the course of the game. And that's another proponent in terms of the Buffalo Bills staff and their ability to coach. And we saw it again today with Xavier Worthy getting off to the hot start that he did earlier in the game. They wanted to exploit possibly the lack of speed we have on the defensive backfield with the explosiveness of Xavier Worthy, and they was able to do so early on. But once again, the Buffalo Bills was able to key in once he made a couple of plays and was able to focus in more on him and make that adjustment, and he was quiet for the rest of the game. So the Buffalo Bills coaching staff and their ability to make the necessary adjustments is something that is continuously standing out throughout the course of this 9-2 season for the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely. There's not much else to say. The Buffalo Bills are a team that we're a force to be reckoned with in the NFL. The D-line showed up when it needed to show up. Goal line, defensive line, stopping the run has been vital, and the playoffs is basically upon us. I can't wait to get there and see what we do. No. But all that McDermott hot seat talk, wrap it up. Done with it.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. He's now, we have to look at him in as a guy that's a coach of the year, and the coach of the year running. I know Campbell out there in Detroit, they like to embarrass guys, and that's something that I'm going to be looking forward to. That's a match because they want to embarrass guys, and they don't shy about it. They're not shy about it at all. If you're not coming to play for 60 minutes, they don't care if they up 30 zip. They want to get up 37 zip. They want to get up 44 zip. They don't care. There's no taking the gas off the pedal with Dan Campbell's Lions defense. And the next 3 games, I think, is going to be the 3 key games that determines if the Buffalo Bills can indeed creep up and get that number one seed. Why? The San Francisco 49ers. I just spoke about I believe in not necessarily records. It helps. You want to play at home. You want to have that advantage. You want to have as much advantages as you can in the playoffs. But I do believe in matchups as well. And the San Francisco 49ers, they pose a threat for the Buffalo Bills because of their ability to run the ball. They have Christian McCaffrey back. He's working his legs. He's going to play next week and 2 weeks when we play them. He's going to be a fresh leg back and one of the better backs in the NFL. And we're going to have to try to limit Christian McCaffrey, and that's going to be a tall task for the Buffalo Bills defense. The week after that, we have the Rams, and they have a Karen Williams back who's a very good back, and he can be explosive in his own right. And they have two good outside receivers, so that's an interesting matchup for the Buffalo Bills as well. And last but not least, the ability of the Detroit Lions, that nasty offensive line, David Montgomery wanting to run the ball, Jahmyr Gibbs and his speed and his ability to get to the outside. That's going to be another key matchup for the Buffalo Bills. And this 3-game stretch coming up after the bye week is going to be a tall tale sign if the Buffalo Bills can obtain that number one seed, because it's not just Kansas City. The Pittsburgh Steelers are playing some damn good ball as well. They have the similar record, and we can't ignore what they're doing and think they're going to lose games. We're going to have to do our part the remainder of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. For the longest time, the big boys have been the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens. Well, the Ravens couldn't beat a team today that only scored field goals. Call it what you want. Spade's a spade, right? That's what you say. The Ravens could not beat a team today that only kicked field goals. That's like some Madden troll, like my buddy over here, who just tries to beat you like 3-2 because he thinks it's funny. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was a terrible game to watch. I watched it. Luckily, I was cleaning up my man cave, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put the game on in the background. It was so bad I put music on, so that way I didn't have to hear that nonsense. But at the end of the game, I saw it, and I was like, there's the blueprint. We get Milano back. We got a chance. And so I'm waiting for them playoffs to see what happens. But the Steelers they're a threat. And then if we see him this year in the playoffs, that is not Mason Rudolph will be playing. That is Russell Wilson, who seems to be having some of that swagger back. He don't look all the way back, but he seems to have some of that swagger back.
Absolutely. The Pittsburgh Steelers are playing excellent ball. You still have Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who's for me a scary matchup. But despite that, they have their fourth loss. The Pittsburgh Steelers did beat them today, so that's why. And that's another reason why I think, Josh Allen should be one of those guys that's inching up there. I know, Jared Goff had a bounce back game today with 4 touchdowns running up the scoreboard against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he did have a 5 interception game just last week. And there's not many MVPs that I know in the same season that had a 5 interception game. I might have to look into that, So, once again, we'll see what happens there. But, it was a team effort. It was an all around team effort tonight for the Bills, and now we get a bye week and we get an opportunity to rest. And I think it's about being healthy at the end of the day for the Buffalo Bills, because we speak about Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Ultimately, if you want to win a Lombardi Trophy, you're going to have to beat good to great teams to get there. So that's just what it is. That it's not easy to win a championship. There are great players failed to win the championship. It's hard. Jim Kelly, Dan Marino. It's not an easy feat. So, but at the end of the day, that's the ultimate goal we have as Buffalo Bills fans and as the Buffalo Bills team share as well. They share that same sentiment as well. So let's gear up for the rest of the season. It's great teams we have to play and we have to beat in order to hoist that Lombardi Trophy, and we're in a great position to do so.
Absolutely agree with that. And looking at the standings in the playoffs before we head out of here, because Sunday night football's on, people want to watch the games. It has AFC implications. It's the Bengals and the Chargers. If the Chargers win today, the Bengals are basically out of it. But in the AFC right now, number one seed is the Kansas City Chiefs, 9-1. 2 is the Buffalo Bills at 9-2. 3 is the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-2. 4 is the Houston Texans, 6-4. 5 is the Chargers, 6-3. 6 is the Baltimore Ravens, 7-4. And 7th is the Denver Broncos, who had a big win today at 6-5. That 7th seed
That'll
is going to
be
be highly contested.
yeah. You know,
Because
and
the
that's
Colts had that comeback against the Jets today because the Jets freaking suck.
yeah, absolutely. I was just I was unfortunate for the Jets. They was up 8 late in the game. The Indianapolis Colts was able to pull that one off late. Aaron Rodgers, he looked like a shell. I know he had this illustrious career with the Green Bay Packers, but he doesn't look and doesn't have that mobility. He does have the arm strength at times to make those throws. He definitely has the high IQ, but the overall athletic ability is gone. And it'll be interesting to see what the Jets do this off season. But if I'm the owner and I'm the new coach, I'm looking to draft a QB if I'm the Jets. But
They need to, yeah. They need to draft a QB, even if Rodgers stays for a year. Like, you have the firepower player-wise. The Jets have all the talent in the world. Their coaches stink. Their coaches stink.
And that's what it's about. And that's why coaching matters. And I gotta shout out, Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. We don't know what happened with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton last year. It just wasn't a good mix, off the field. Personalities didn't mix, and I think it led to on the field inconsistencies and ultimately a bad breakup. But Bo Nix is doing his thing over there. Big victory against the Atlanta Falcons, the rookie quarterback. Sean Payton's offense, he's doing an excellent job commanding that offense. And that would be an interesting matchup right now. If the playoffs started today, Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos, I would take that matchup all day. But that would be an interesting matchup going up against a very good defense in the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix offensively leading the charge.
Yeah, we struggled against them last year and we lost that game. Also, we were kind of in a down point in the year, but the AFC is about to tighten up real quick. The top of the AFC looks like it's basically set: Chiefs, Bills, Steelers. But those wild card slots and the AFC South, because the Texans are 6-4 and the Colts are 5-6. There's no guarantee the Texans win that spot and the Colts still end up the 4 seed. There's no guarantee of that. So, especially with Diggs out, Collins backed up, and Stroud having his struggles, I had to sit CJ Stroud in fantasy this week. I had to sit him. I'm glad I did because I had Jared Goff on one team, but it's because he can't produce without the guys he needs. Tank Dell's not a number one receiver, and that's just the struggles that they're dealing with. But
and I'm sorry, that Houston team is. I don't think they're as good as last year, but again, it's about the matchup. Nico Collins is still out there. They still have good pieces around there. They still have structure there. They still have a decent tight end. They still have Nico and Tank Dell. They have Joe Mixon in the backfield, and that's ultimately what it will come down to for our defense, in my opinion. We will have to minimize the rushing ability of Joe Mixon, and if we can do that, I would like our chances for this next for a possible next game if it led to that in the playoffs against the Houston Texans. Every game is going to be hard. Every game would be hard, but there are games that, in my opinion, match up better for the Buffalo Bills than others. And I would have the Houston Texans in that moderate realm in terms of how they match up against the Bills.
Agreed. You got anything else, man?
No, man. Excellent victory. The Buffalo Bills over the Kansas City Chiefs by the score of 30-21. Josh Allen, 26-yard rushing touchdown, the cap off the victory for the Buffalo Bills, taking total control of the AFC East and have their eyes set on the number one seed. And it's time for us to rest, right? Now we can go next week. We free mind, and we can watch the rest of the NFL and see how the standings fall. So great victory for the Buffalo Bills. Rich, Akeem Richens, Izzy, take us away.
Hey, let's go Panthers next week. They play the Chiefs, so we'll see what happens there. If they lose to the Panthers, man. Anyway, it's cool.
I wouldn't bet my money on it.
I'm definitely not betting my money on it. I love my money. Anyways, it's go Bills all day, every day.
Go Bills.
Victory Monday tomorrow. Let's go. Woo!
Go Bills.